Hi, this is Brandy at Scrap Girls, and I've had a lot of you ask me about this particular layout and how I did the blending technique in it. So I thought for today I'd take some time and kind of break it down for you and show you how I did it so you can achieve some of the same effects yourself. So what I started with on this is going to be a photo of Lily. And the first step that you're going to need to do is do the extraction. Now there are so many different ways to do extractions in Photoshop. You may have your own that you like best. For this particular one, I use the lasso tool, and that's found over here on the left side of your screen where it says lasso tool. And if you hold down your mouse, you'll see a little window pop up that gives you different types of lassos that you can choose from. Now I'm just going to use the regular lasso on this, so I'm going to choose that. And once you choose the lasso tool, this will change at the top of your screen here. You want to make sure that you've clicked on the second button that says Add to Selection. The new selection is the default, so if you've never used this tool before, you want to make sure that you click on that. And then once you have, I think next time you open up Photoshop, it'll stay on Add to Selection. And I'll show you the reason we're going to do that. Now I've got the lasso tool chosen, and I'm going to just zoom in really close so I can kind of see what's going on. I'm not going to be able to get all the wispiness of her hair. I'm just going to kind of go around it. But once you take this tool and you can start going around it, your photo a little bit, you'll see I'll wrap back around and let it snap to, and that is part of the selection. And then I'll add some more and make sure I encompass that and see how it adds to the selection each time you go. Now, if you didn't have that second button clicked at the top, it would just create a new selection and you would lose the previous selection you made. So that's why it's really important to have that button pushed. So as I'm going around, I'm just letting it snap back. Same way, all the way around. And you can soften the edges once you get it done. I'm not going to do the whole photo because, just for the sake of time. But I just want to let you know that that's a really good way to do it. Just zoom in really close so you can see what's going on. And you don't have to be exactly perfect. Just do the best that you can. Okay? Now, I have already have this done. You can see I've gone through it and I've totally extracted Lily out of the photo. Now the next thing I want to do for this particular layout is add her to a white background. So to do that, I'm going to click on the adjustment tool here at the bottom. It's a little half white, half black. And click on solid color. And then I'm just going to choose white. As white as I can get it. And I'm going to slide that layer underneath her. And then once you get that done, I'm going to right click on my mouse and choose flatten image. And that will flatten everything together. Or I guess you could just sort of flatten image without adding the white and it would automatically flatten it onto a white background. Now the next thing we want to do is change this to a sepia photo because that's what I used in this particular layout. Now there's some sepia filters in Photoshop Elements. There's all different types of ways that you can get the sepia tone, but I'm just going to show you an easy way that I like to do it, especially if I'm matching a collection like Shabby Blanc, which has some tans in it and things like that. Is I just am going to pull up one of my naturally neutral papers, and this is number 7, and all you do is you just drag a cream colored paper on top and change the blending mode to color, and you can see how that just automatically changes the tone up a little bit. And you can play with the color a little bit with the hue saturation. If you wanted a little more pink, a little more green, I'm going to take this a little more pink. And then I am going to flatten that image once I get that done. We'll let it do its job here. Okay. Now I want to brighten it up a little bit and give it a little bit of a glow, since the photograph had a little bit of a glow in the original layout. And you're going to want to make sure that you change your default colors, your foreground color and your background color, to the default settings, which is black on top and white in the background. And if you click on this little black and white papers on top of each other, it'll go right back to default. Okay. So now we're going to go to Filter Gallery, and this is the same in Photoshop Elements. And I'm going to right click and choose Fit and View so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to choose the Distort and then Diffuse Glow. And I have mine set, let's see, at 2 and 18. I think maybe 20 is good. Anywhere between 18 and 20 should be fine. And the glow amount to 2. You can get really up there and it's almost too much sometimes. So I'm going to take it down to 2 and hit OK. All right, now we've got the picture all in a glow. Now I'm going to go back, and since I have this paper already here, the reason I'm getting this particular kind of blend on this is because of this paper. You'll notice that it's got a little bit of pattern showing through, which is the words, and then some cream. And once we do the blending mode, the picture is going to attach itself to the cream colored spots, and you're going to see some of the other coming through. That's why I get this particular effect. But you can try it on, let's say, any other cream colored paper, background paper that you have that has a little bit of a pattern in it. It could be a brocade or anything. So you might want to try it on some different backgrounds just to see what kind of different effects you can get. But for this tutorial, we're going to use this one, and this is from Shabby Blanc. And I am going to double click on my background to make that just a layer so I can pull this paper underneath it. And then I'm going to click on the glowing photo of Lily, and I'm going to change that to darker color. And now you see all the white disappears and just Lily remains. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to pull her to the side like I had her before. And if you need to brighten up your photo at all, you can put a leveling layer on top. And that's, again, you click the little white and black button there at the bottom and click on levels. And then you can kind of you can adjust. I'm going to right click and create clipping max. So this only adjusts Lily's picture and not the background paper. But you can play with the adjustment layers if you need it a little bit brighter or a little bit more contrast. You'll pull that top black one over a little bit. That's just so you know how to adjust it, because sometimes the pictures are not taken by professional like this particular one was of Lily when the lighting was excellent, and sometimes we take snapshots on a whim with our phones all kinds of different ways. So wonderful thing Photoshop is. Okay, so now we've got the photo of Lily on it, and you can see all these words starting to come through. She's blended right into the paper. I don't mind the blending so much of the words coming through. I actually like it, but what I don't like is I don't like the words on her face. I generally don't like a pattern on the subject's face. So I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to click on the bottom layer, which is my background paper, and I'm just going to add a new layer. And at the bottom, the second one from the left, you see the trash can, and the one right next to that is create a new layer. So I'm going to click on that, and it adds a blank layer in between the background and Lily. Now next you want to take a soft edge brush. I'm using a brush from Background Blenders just because I like the textures and stuff that it gives. But you can actually use just the regular soft edge brush from Photoshop. That works fine too. Either one you want to do. But you want to make sure that you have white selected as your foreground color. And if you don't, then you can click on that again where black is on top, and then click the switch button so it puts white back on top, because we want white to be there. And I'm going to make sure I'm on that layer in between Lily and the background paper. And then I'm just going to click here and there with a soft edge brush, and you'll see that disappear just a little bit. And then you can take the opacity down a little bit, so you get some of it showing through. But you notice how all the words on the front of her face disappeared, and you can actually see her beautiful face. I'm going to merge this leveling layer down. And on the original layout, you can see that I have this mirror image of her on the right hand side at the bottom. It's barely there, it's barely noticeable, but it is there. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to click on that, and we're going to duplicate that layer. Move her down a little bit to the bottom here. And all I'm going to do is change that opacity to about 30%. Can actually take that to normal since it's just barely showing through. Nope, we need to make that darker color, that white showing through. Don't want that to happen. So now I've got her picture here in the bottom, and then you just go through and add all of your embellishments on top like I did here with all the this is shabby text and brush stamp, but everything that I used in the layout is in the text form of this tutorial. Just scroll on down to the bottom and I've got the links and everything there. If you want to do something exactly like this, you'll have the links to everything that I used for it. And, you know, try some other things. Try some other backgrounds and see what kind of different effects that you can get blending this way. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I'm glad I got a chance to break it down for you, at least answer some of your questions that you've had. And if there's any other layout that you see that you would like broken down or just can't figure out how I did something, drop me a line on the blog. I read everything that you guys write. So I thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.